This video I'm going to be showing you how to make a copper torque bracelet. So this is one I've made, but I've had a work colleague ask for me to make one. So I'm going to take you through the process of forging up a copper torque. So the first thing we're going to do is take a measurement. So in mil, wrap around the wrist. Okay, so for me that is about 18.5. Okay, so the torque that I've actually made, measure around the outside, is about 20. Okay, because it's going to be a little bit larger. Here's what am I saying? Okay, so I got about 20 centimeters there. Now at that point I'm going to bend. Okay, yeah, so 20. This gets taken out, bends it down. Okay, now at this point I'm going to double check and just drop my board. I'm going to make sure that it is okay, pretty much spot on. Now we want to make sure that this top of this third one goes right about there. Okay, now this is all really rough at the moment because we're just sizing it all up. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting that around about there. Edges up. Yeah. So this is what we're going to start with. Okay, comes up, loops back around. So we're just going to clean out these edges. Okay, so now that I've got that cleaned up the edge on both ends, I am going to get out the hammer. So I'm just using this back part of my my vise, or you can use an anvil, but just to get that down to about that level. Okay, so again, it now looks like this. Gonna measure again. Make sure we're still in that roughly 20 mils. Yeah, so or 20 centimeters. Right now we're about 20.5. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so next step, what we're going to do is place this into the vise. Now I have got some plywood in there to keep it from getting marked up, but also just to help insulate it because we're going to be blow torching. Now I want to make sure that I got at least that much stuck into the wood. Okay, next bit is going to grab a clamp. Now we're going to do the same thing up here. Clamp on to that little end, just like that. Now I could start trying to twist it, but that would be a bit difficult because as copper is used, it will start to harden. So what I've got to do is I've got to anneal it. So I'm going to get it extremely hot. And I'm going to do that with the blowtorch. Alright, so I've just heated. It is actually very hot. I'm going to grab up here and I'm literally just going to start twisting. very slowly. There we go. Look how nice that's starting to look. So twisting, twisting, twisting. So you really have to feel the metal, what kind of resistance it gives. And once we get up here closer to the top, I think I probably got one more. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna do this clamp. Okay, now I want that twisted a little bit more, so I'm just gonna go up here to the top, put that in again. See if I can give this top bit a good twist. Okay. Now this is extremely hot. All right. So that's what it looks like so far. Now what I'm going to do is just try to make sure that those ends are just right. I can still feel all the heat coming off the ends. Now as I'm doing all this, it's actually making this harder. So what I'll need to do is actually heat it back up again while it's still hot. I need to fix this end. I'm just trying to decide on how I'm going to do that. Okay, so we now have a very hot piece of twisted copper. Now again, I'm going to just keep shaping this end that we just twisted, like my crude little tools I'm using. Make sure this all looks nice. As you see, as I'm beating this, it's actually coming a little bit untwisted. So we will have to twist the hammer with the direction of that twist. And then we'll do our final little twist at the end. Okay, so you make one end flat. You can see it's almost done a just a little bit of an untwist. Pop this back in. Not by much, just that little tiny bit. So just basically like a quarter turn. That's about right. Okay, from here I'm going to need to straighten that out. So hopefully by now I should be able to hold this with my gloves. Yeah. All right. So you can see I've made some marks on the end here with the gloves, or not the gloves, but the those pliers. So I'm going to need to sand or file that off, and I'll be back. Okay, so next I'm going to start to shape. It's still pretty warm. I'm going to start shaping this into the bracelet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start coming around like this. It's going to have that nice bend in the top, and then those are going to tuck down the sides. So I'm going to use my little homemade anvil for that. So here's my little anvil. I'm going to be using this horn on the end. And so first I'm going to start giving it that shape on the end, just on that one. So here we go. So I've got that little curve there. I'm going to flip it around and repeat the same process. It's kind of funny doing this with a GoPro right in front of me. Okay, so see how it's trying to untwist itself? So that's just going to need a little bit of love and care in a little bit. Okay, so now we start giving it that shape in the center. Okay, I'm going to go just with this, twist this back. That's looking pretty good. I just move that one down, so I'm just basically trying to mirror each side. Okay, slightly larger. My other. Thinking that's looking pretty good. Now basically, the long story short is I'm just going to keep working this. Now every time I hit it, it is getting harder. I will need to anneal it if I do any more, otherwise the metal becomes so hard that it can become brittle through metal fatigue. I think that's just slightly larger than mine, which is fine. Yep. Okay, I'll just do a little bit of cleanup work on this, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so it's basically every time you do something, it's going to change something else about this, so it gets a little bit finicky. I'm gonna start tapping down from the ends, so we're getting that nice little curve. Now see, I'm not super happy with where that's at, so it's looking a bit better. You now see it starting to come together. Now I just need to. Ooh, it's pretty hard now. Yeah, I think I'm just need to pull this one down a little bit more. That will have to open back up a little bit just to be able to get it onto your arm. Yeah, cool. Now I just need to flatten that down. Which side do I want to go on? Maybe this one. Okay. Okay, now I just need to take it over to the vise and I will use some leverage just to get that back in. So I've just brushed it all. I can still feel there's a few little areas I'm going to need to get in there and file. But it's almost ready to go through this final processes of buffing it. Actually, I might just bend that down a little bit more. Okay, so this is what I've got left. It's roughly the same size, just that slight tiny bit different shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sandpaper to this and I'm going to sand off the really rough edges, and then I'm going to get some files and then we will start to buff it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the buffing process. So I've got a buffing wheel. Just going to add a little bit of this buffing compound. And then we'll watch the magic happen. There you go. One copper torque. Now it won't stay this shiny forever. It will dull down just with oxidation, but there you go. That's how you make it. I will get in there. Oh no, that's just compound. Okay. So yeah, that's how you make one.